This podcast is for entertainment and commentary purposes only. The views expressed by the hosts and guests are their own and do not reflect any organizations or affiliates. This show may contain adult language and mature themes. Listener discretion is advised. Portions of media may be used under fair use for commentary and criticism. Nothing discussed on this podcast should be taken as professional, legal, or financial advice.
It's JM and DIGZ, two kids that never quit. From the ring to the booth, yeah, they still talk their shit. Hey! Thursdays on your feed, little ones, you don't skip if you can't.
All right, welcome to another episode of the JM and DIGZ podcast. I am JM.
I am Diggs. What's up, homies?
And welcome to episode 10. We're in the double digits now, buddy.
Damn, I really did not think 10 episodes.
For real. Do me a favor, fix your camera, though. This is going to be the weekly thing. We don't have much for local news to start, but we do got a packed episode today. But so instead of local news, I'm going to cover a story that affects me personally deeply. It's sad news. It's a sad day. Paramount is officially dismantling the Star Trek franchise after a historic 9-year streaming run. And this is crazy, Diggs. I mean, they have literally packed Paramount Plus with a bunch of original Star Trek shows. If you're watching, you can see the graphic that's shown now. That's Star Trek Lower Decks, kind of like a animated comedy spin on the Star Trek universe. Super funny, super entertaining if you're like a diehard Star Trek fan like me. And other than that, the live action Star Trek shows were really hit or miss, depending on your perspective of it. I mean, out of all of them, because you had not just I liked Lower Decks because that was more of a fun spin on everything. But they had the Starfleet Academy, they had the Section 31, Section 31 was like a spin-off of Discovery. So I don't know, I didn't really get fully immersed in these shows. They were just something for me to watch because it's Star Trek, and as a Trekkie, you're kind of fiending for some new Star Trek content. I'll watch what I can.
Yeah.
I was more into, and I've talked to you about this, Diggs. I was more into Star Trek Picard. But with that being said, I thought the first 2 seasons of that were kind of whack. I really did not like season 2. Actually, season 2 of Star Trek Picard really pissed me off. And then I felt like, just because they went with this alternate universe, and they had to find a way to reverse the effects to get back to their own temporal timeline. And I don't know, just the way they went about it was kind of weird, in my opinion. But when you go through the whole season, you just kind of feel like by the end of it, they brought back one of the main arch enemies of Picard, which is Q, and Q was really behind them getting put into this alternative timeline. And then, long story short, spoiler alert for anyone that wants to watch it, but it just was weird because Q's the one that put them all in this very dangerous situation, and then by the end of the series, they're hugging Q. They're giving him a hug. I'm
That's
just
nice of them.
I'm like, what are we doing here? What the fuck are we doing here? It's yeah, Q died. Yeah, it was just a weird season. I didn't agree with it. I definitely agree with From the Dungeon. I mean, I can see why some of these shows people just say sucked, but I think the biggest issue and the real reason why Paramount's forced into dismantling all these shows, it really is not just the fact that the diehard Trekkies are not into it. I think it's more the fact that they failed to do what they needed to do, and that was to try to get new fans into into Star Trek, and that's what they were trying to do. So yeah, I mean, it's a big failure on Paramount's part, but it does leave room in the future for them maybe to reboot something, kind of get a whole different spin on it in the future. And right, Sanchez made a good point. Like a lot of the issue here, it comes right off of the Warner Brothers merger. They spent so much money on that deal, so I feel like that's part of it. Also, an executive that got absorbed from Warner Brothers that now is going to be working with Paramount. Before the merger was official, he even said that he was like highly attracted to the Star Trek franchise, and he said he'd love the opportunity to work with that. And then it's funny that now they're just dismantling all this. So I don't know. I don't know if that had something to do with it or not. But Predator versus Star Trek. I'm a Trekkie, man. I mean, I love Predator, classic. But I'm a Trekkie at heart. I love and respect the OG season and the OG movies, but I grew up in the '90s, so Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. Those are my joints right there. I did watch Enterprise. I didn't fully immerse myself in that though, like I did the other three series. So, but anyway, I mean, it is what it is. But I definitely liked Picard season 3. It brought back the nostalgia kick of TNG. That was probably my highlight of all these new shows that they released. Bringing back the Enterprise D and that type of stuff was fucking awesome. But that's just a nostalgia kick for the old school Trekkies. So I can understand why it probably didn't connect to a new audience, but it is what it is. Oh yeah, that's right. 7 of 9. That was actually the one thing in the Picard series I did agree with. They brought 7 of 9 back for the Picard series. Obviously, she's older now. Maybe she doesn't look as good as she did back in the Voyager days, but yeah, she was like a sex symbol back in those days, bro. Like no one thought Star Trek could be sexy, and then they made 7 of 9. So she was like Star Trek's Pamela Anderson at that time. We'll say that.
All
especially back then in that time period. But yeah, it was cool to see her back in the show. But all in all, it doesn't look like we're going to see any new Star Trek projects coming out anytime soon. So it is for what it is.
I just looked up 7 of 9. Okay, I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah, you'd have to find like she was on like the cover of all those like, you know, TV magazines and shit.
Yeah,
too,
with the thing going
over her eye, and she always
Yeah.
wore cat suits to show off her figure and shit. Yeah.
What season is she in? Might watch that season.
Oh yeah, she doesn't come onto the show until later. She's like season 3 or 4, I believe. She was Borg, and then they end up getting a hold of her and turning her, well, never turned her completely human. Had a hard time assimilating back to being human, because she was assimilated by the Borg at a young age. Like she was a small girl and then grew up as a Borg. So then when she got kind of assimilated back to humans, she didn't know what she was doing. So, but anyway, that's really all I got on that. I just wanted to bring that up since we didn't have a local story. I'm a huge Trekkie, so that shit hit home for me. But I also kind of saw the writing on the wall, especially with the Warner merger. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, you were talking about this last week.
Right. I knew something like this was coming, and then today I saw the news breaking. So, but moving on, we have a heck of a lot more to talk about in the NFL this week than I did last week. So we'll get into that. First things first, the Rams president, Kevin Demoff, supports the Browns' proposed trade rule change. Hold on. I'm parched. Anyway, last week, the Cleveland Browns submitted a rule change to the NFL to allow teams to trade draft picks from 5 seasons into the future. currently the rule is 3. So you can take your draft picks from 3 years from now and trade them right now if you wanted to. What the Browns want to do is they want the league to change it so all teams can then trade 5 years into the future. Take the draft picks for their drafts 5 years ahead and be able to trade those. Now, here's the reason why I think the Cleveland Browns are doing it. The Cleveland Browns are doing this because they screwed up a few years back with this trade for Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was accused of like sexual assault on like a masseuse, and he was at the time the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans didn't want anything to do with him while this accusation was being investigated, so they sat him for a whole year, even though the league actually never officially suspended him at the time. So what they do instead is they trade him. The Browns traded away a shitload of draft picks for the guy, and then they signed him. The Browns then re-signed him to the Browns under this crazy contract, which was mostly guaranteed money. And then since he's been a Brown, he can barely stay in the fucking field. He when he's on the field, he sucks, and he always gets hurt. So it's been one of the worst transactions in NFL history, honestly. So now I feel like what the Browns are trying to do to try to rebuild is they're trying to get the NFL to give them more draft capital because they have none right now. So
isn't that just going to screw them in the long run?
If they go down the typical Cleveland Browns path where everything they do is a mistake, yeah, they will. But if you can trade these picks and actually hit on these transactions, well, then there would be a different story. And this is a team that's got arguably the best defensive lineman of all time. On their team, like Myles Garrett broke the single season sack record this past season, even though the Browns weren't making it to the playoffs. So I don't know. They definitely gotta figure something out. But the window is closing for their time with Myles Garrett, so they gotta figure that out.
You think they're gonna?
No, I don't. I don't see the Browns. I don't see the Browns going to the Super Bowl anytime soon. From the Dungeon said, "Bro, isn't it kind of silly using like 5 years of draft picks?" Yeah, I don't see. Right now, there's only 2 teams really that are admittedly for it. So the Browns submitted this rule change, so they're obviously wanting it. The Rams owner actually supports it, so the Los Angeles Rams are obviously going to vote for it. So it's really like out of the remaining 30 owners will get voted on. I don't know. I don't see like the top teams right now in the NFL really needing to trade draft picks from that far back. But those teams will definitely want to acquire. They'll definitely want to acquire picks from that far back for those drafts in the future. So I don't know. We will see. We will see how it works out. I'm gonna cover a bunch of the other proposed rule changes and stuff at the end of the NFL segment. But just getting into some of the other headlines, Carson Wentz is returning to the Minnesota Vikings on a 1-year deal, joining J.J. McCarthy and Kyler Murray in that QB room. This is Carson Wentz's second run with the Minnesota Vikings. So. The question is going to be, will he get an opportunity to actually start? They just signed Kyler Murray out of free agency. J.J. McCarthy was drafted a few years ago. He's supposed to be the quarterback of the future, but his first season, he ended up getting hurt. Sam Darnold had to step in, took them to the playoffs. Then last year, they gave J.J. McCarthy a shot after his injury, and it was, it was a tough year for JJ, so I can see why the Vikings are trying to put a little bit of an insurance policy behind JJ. They got Kyler Murray in there. You had a veteran presence like Carson Wentz, who's been in the system before. So Will Wentz get a chance to play in the regular season? I don't know, but I can see why they're trying to stack some experience in that QB room behind the youngin. So we did have a trade this week also happen. The Philadelphia Eagles traded safety Sidney Brown to the Atlanta Falcons. Philadelphia will receive a fourth rounder. It's going to be the 114th pick in the fourth round, and a sixth round, which would be the 197th pick. And Atlanta, in exchange for not just Brown, get a fourth rounder, but they go back a few picks. So they go from 114 to 122, and they also swap 6-round picks. So they go from 197 to 215. So pretty much, Atlanta got a corner and just stepped back a few picks in those rounds. So I really think it's a win for Atlanta there. But yeah, I'm not totally positive why the Eagles really needed this trade, because unless it was like a cap hit type of a trade, like you wanted to get them off your books for next season, that would be the only thing I could really see. But who knows? So yeah.
Does it say who proposed the trade, or that the trade just happened?
Yeah, it was the Eagles. The Eagles initiated it. So they wanted obviously to get Brown off their books, and then they just swapped 4th and 6th round picks. So they just pretty much traded forward in those rounds, and Atlanta receives a corner and then trades back a few picks. So from the Gio says his Diggs wearing eyeliner
all the time, baby.
And holy shit, Diggs, did you hear that they're working on a Jeepers Creepers 5 with Jenny Ortega in it? Oh shit.
I heard some rumors, but I did not think it was true, and I did not look too much into it.
Jenny Ortega hopping from one horror franchise to another over there. It'd be fucking hilarious. All right, moving on. So we did have a couple of retirements this week, and the first one was veteran wide receiver DJ Chark announces a retirement after just 7 seasons in the NFL. Chark's main impact in the league happened with his tenure with Jacksonville, I believe, but recently just played with the Chargers. I think he also did a year with the Panthers. 29 years old, retiring young, but honestly still beats the average of a wide receiver in the NFL. The average wide receiver in the NFL only plays actually 3 years. That's the average life cycle for a wide receiver in the NFL. So definitely had a longer career than most. But yep. So no more DJ Chark. He's gonna retire before the age of 30. Moving on, big news right here. The Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks exercised their 5th-year option on wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba and cornerback Devin Witherspoon. And then 2 days after exercising the 5th-year option, so they really just used the 5th-year option on Jackson Smith-Njigba only to be able to re-sign him immediately. So 2 days after they activate the 5th-year option, they re-sign him. It's a 4-year, $168.6 million extension. So if you're living under a rock, Jackson Smith-Njigba pretty much was the top receiver in the entire NFL last year. And then their team went on and won the Super Bowl on top of it. So I don't think anyone had a better career year than Jackson Smith-Njigba this year. So it was, and then he tops it off before the next season. He got paid. He got paid, bro. He got paid.
He deserves it, though.
Yeah. $168.6 million for a 4-year extension. Oh yeah, dude got paid out, bro. So congratulations to him, and Devin Witherspoon will be a Seahawk for at least 1 more year. No word on him getting an extension yet. Moving on to Tampa Bay. It was reported, I think a couple episodes back, Diggs, I told everybody how Lavonte David looks like he's not going to be returning with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, now Lavonte David officially announces his retirement from the NFL after 14 seasons with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this man was very underappreciated, I think, from a league standpoint. I think Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans knew what they had with David, but for the rest of the league, if you're a fan of your team and that's it, and you really don't look outside that box, you got to give this man a lot of respect. 14 seasons, 1,714 tackles. He ends his career with 12 100 tackle seasons, a Tampa Bay Buccaneers franchise record of 33 forced fumbles, another club best of 21 defensive fumble recoveries. He also had 14 interceptions and 42.5 sacks for the career. So congratulations to Lavonte David. Also, obviously, was part of that Super Bowl team with Tom Brady. So he has a Super Bowl ring. He's got all these crazy stats. We will see in the future, did he do enough to make it to the NFL, the Pro Football Hall of Fame? I think he deserves a spot in Canton, but we
Probably
will.
won't be first round.
Won't be first round. He's going to have some stiff competition, definitely. But it would be great to see him get his gold jacket one day in the future. That'd be great. All right, moving over to Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Bengals bring back veteran quarterback Joe Flacco on a 1-year, $6 million deal. So I'm going to guess this is just due to the uncertainty of can Joe Burrow make it through a whole season, because they don't want a repeat of last year. So in case you guys don't know, last year the Cincinnati Bengals lost Joe Burrow, their franchise quarterback, for I think it was about almost 2 months, I think, which is like 7 to 8 weeks, something like that. So they were in a bad way. They didn't really have a great backup quarterback, so they had to trade for Joe Flacco. He actually started his season last year with the Browns. He even got to play with the Browns for a few games because they were riddled with quarterback injuries. And then this is kind of unheard of in the NFL too. The fact that the Browns were willing to trade him to the Bengals, because the Browns and Bengals are division rivals. So the fact that they were even able to, they were even willing to help a franchise rival like that made no sense. Because you know how it goes. If you're fighting for a playoff spot, you really need to get the division, lock down the division to get to the playoffs. Otherwise, it's really rough to get to the playoffs without winning the division title. So anyway, but we'll see how it goes. Also, right after Joe re-signed with the Bengals, he did make a comment. He was interviewed about being back with Cincinnati, signing a 1-year deal, and he made a comment saying that last year he could name about 30 teams that are just dumb for not wanting to give him a chance to start last year. So he's already kind of calling out some other teams that I guess had an opportunity to trade for him or sign him. All right, and we're gonna be wrapping it up with this. This is the biggest segment I got, but this is the playing rules, bylaw, and resolution proposals for the 2026 NFL season, which is upcoming. So here are the playing rule proposal summary for the competition committee to sift through. Now, these are just all proposals. None of these have been approved yet, so we'll keep an eye on this to see which get voted in and which get vetoed. But so number one, by commission committee, to permit the kicking team to declare an onside kick at any time during the game. Diggs, I don't know if you knew this, but when they changed the kickoff style to this new where the teams are right next to each other to try to lower impact. Yeah. They took away the ability to be able to onside kick whenever the hell you want. You can only, the rule right now, or this past year, these past few seasons, has been you have to be the losing team, and you have to be in like the last 2 minutes of the game or something like that.
Really?
Or you have to be at such a point deficit that you're allowed to. It was a weird rule, but we've seen it kind of get in the way of things last year, because some teams definitely could have made some comebacks if they were allowed to onside, like those surprise onside kicks back in the day used to be the shit. What are the odds? Toshio's coming tonight? Very good. Very good. Very good odds. I will say that. Number 2, commission committee to eliminate the kicking team's incentive to intentionally kick the ball out of bounds when kicking off from the 50-yard line. Number 3, to modify the kickoff alignment requirements for the receiving team players in the setup zone, to allow league personnel to consult with on-field officials when considering disqualifications for both flagrant football acts and non-football acts without being called on the field, and for 1 year only to allow the NFL officiating department to correct clear and obvious misses made by on-field officials that impact the game in the event that there is a work stoppage involving the game officials represented by the NFL Referees Association. So this last one right there, the NFL Referees Association is going to have to renegotiate their bargaining agreement. They're worried about another NFL strike, referee strike. Remember we had that years ago? The NFLs all went on strike. The referees all went on strike, and then they literally had to bring in college and even high school football referees. That was a shit show. It was a disaster, bro. It was so bad, and they're worried about that happening again. So they're already trying to prepare a rule for that. If that happens, that they can correct them right away. Smart. They just don't want to repeat the last strike. So that's why they're doing that. All right, and then this is the bylaw proposal summaries. So competition committee amends Article XV2, Section 17.1 of the Constitution and bylaws to permit the league office to adjust the procedures and related dates and deadlines for the final roster reduction to accommodate an international game schedule in the first week of the regular season. Also amend that same article, section 18.1 of the Constitution and bylaws to establish the Saturday and Sunday of Labor Day weekend as business days to provide clubs with personal notices during the first weekend after the roster reduction, and to permit players on reserve physical unable to perform to begin a 21-day practice period after the club's second game of the regular season. The only rule that really is interesting to that to me is really the first one. I just think that teams are pretty much going at the league saying like, yo, you got to give us some slack on these international games because the travel, you sometimes run into situations where injured, say not injured, like questionable, say a guy's questionable for that week, and he doesn't know he's going to play until it's a game day decision. Well, they find themselves in situations where they can't travel with the team, and then they have to make a roster adjustment just to get enough players to the game. But you're not in the States, you're going overseas, so I can understand that rule. And then the last two are the 2026 resolution proposals. The first one by Pittsburgh to make permanent the change implemented during the 2025 season that permits clubs to have one video or phone call with no more than 5 prospective unrestricted free agents during the 2-day negotiating period, and to permit clubs to make travel arrangements with such players upon agreeing to terms. And then number 2 is what we talked about earlier. It was proposed by Cleveland to allow draft selections to be traded up to 5 seasons in the future. So that really wraps up everything I got for the NFL. And I'll keep everyone informed on how the competition committee vote on all these proposals going forward. But
when should we get when are they supposed to be voting?
I don't know the exact date, but they do it every year where all 32 owners go somewhere and meet up with the commissioner and the competition committee, and that's when a lot of those proposals get voted on. And then it's like a 2-day. They do it like a 2-day weekend at some fucking rich, fancy fucking resort, and then you know what I mean. And then they do their meetings, and then after the 2 days you get your news of what got voted on and what got vetoed. They probably go to the Bohemian Grove. What happens if one of those players has a felony or something on them? They can't go into certain countries. Yeah, that definitely happens too. Definitely, if they're pending a legal investigation or a charge or something like that, yeah, they wouldn't be able to go internationally. So, unless they got like a court allowance or something, like the team goes to the court and says, "Hey, can we get like a?" They'll be
Traveling for work.
Yeah, that's exactly what they'll say, and they'll say he's going to be under team supervision and all that shit. So, but that's all I got for the NFL. So it is the time to bring in Mr. Toshio.
What's going on, folks?
What's up, buddy? Welcome to episode 10.
Yo, episode 10. You guys should be proud of yourselves.
I know, for real. 10 weeks in a row. It's crazy.
A pat on the back on that one.
Yep, exactly. It's nuts. But what do you got for us this week?
Same as always, basketball, baseball. So, go. Like always, with basketball. Standings right now are crazy. You got OKC 57-16, top seed. You got San Antonio right behind them at 55-18. And the Lakers at 47-26, who are starting to heat up at this moment. So things are looking interesting on the west side. You got the East, which Detroit is sitting at 52-20. And you got Boston at 48-24, Knicks at 48-25. So you got multiple teams there fighting for the top spot. Now, we spoke about a little bit about this last week about the MVP race. It's getting interesting now. You got SGA, who's got the cleanest case. You know, he's scoring around 31 to 32 points per game, about 6 assists, shooting over 50%. I don't know. He's doing it on the best team in the West right now, which is OKC. Plus, he's one of the best clutch scorers in the league. Then you got Luka. Last week we spoke about this. He wasn't even on a list. But Luka, lately he's been on another level offensively. We're talking about 34 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. He's basically a near triple-double every night. He's had multiple 50-point games, including a 60-piece. He's playing like a 2K character right now. And then you got Wemby. Might be the most impactful overall. So he got 25 to 20 points, 10 to 12 rebounds, about 4 blocks per game. And those blocks, if you watch basketball, they change entire offenses. Teams literally avoid the paint because of him. So now the Spurs are 58-18. So, I mean, that's elite impact translating to wins. So it really comes down to, when it comes to the MVP, it's Shay's efficiency winning, Luka offensive load, Wemby two-way dominance. So, you know, the race is tough right now.
Who's your pick for MVP?
The way they all three is really a tough choice. I would just go with Shea. Why not? He's on the team.
There's a stat you didn't mention about Luka this season. Doesn't he have like a crazy amount of like personal fouls or something like that?
I didn't really check that out. What's the number on that?
I think he has like 15 flagrant foul. I forget what they call it. Is it a flagrant foul? He's got like 15,
fouls,
something like that. He's got like 15 this year. It's like an absurd amount.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt that guy plays with a lot of passion. So
16.
It's 16 now?
Yes, as of 3 days ago.
We're talking about technical fouls or
technical.
So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. He's you would some people would say it's the refs were blind and they call things that aren't there, but I'm not in the game, so I can't really say all those 15 or 16 technical fouls are official. But
I
yeah,
expect you to be on the court every game.
nah, I can't. I couldn't. Not age. I'm winded just speaking. So. All right, so playoff context. Uh, there's no super teams. Lately, back then it was always super teams. Players joining on with other super teams to make But this year and lately, it just feels like nobody really feels unbeatable.
That's the way.
So
That's the way you want it too. That's the way you want it.
yeah, for real. Matchups are gonna decide everything come playoff time. So and that's what I like. That's what I like about basketball lately. There's not one team that you look at it and just be like,
They're gonna
"Damn,
win.
that's
They're gonna
they're
go.
they're
They're going to the
favorites."
finals. Yeah. They're gonna go to the finals or something.
Even though this year you can make a hard case for OKC. The way they're playing, they look like a complete team. You can automatically feel like they're gonna repeat. But you have Wemby, who's in
They're a
San
young team.
Antonio,
Like
will tell
they're
you
a young
otherwise
team too,
because they
right?
beat them every time they play them. So
Is
we'll see.
is So they won. They won the chip last year. Weren't they like the youngest team in the league?
I believe so. But we'll see. It's definitely one of those seasons where anybody actually can win.
Gotcha.
All right, so now we're going to baseball.
Opening day.
Opening day is here, and we already got
Yay.
our first real statement game, which was last night on Netflix. I believe it was their first baseball game that they streamed on Netflix.
It was.
It was the Yankees versus the San Francisco Giants. Yankees win 7-0,
Damn.
and for me, it was a complete performance. You have pitcher-wise, Max Fried set the tone. He goes 6 innings, shuts everything down, no real threats. That's exactly how you want to start the season. And I was actually worried in the beginning.
I remember you and Sanchez were in my chat when I was streaming last night.
Yeah. Can I piggyback off? Yeah, can I piggyback off that real quick because everybody was talking shit.
Yeah,
everybody was talking shit, and I swear to God, not even 10 minutes later, when the second inning happened, the San Francisco pitcher hit, and my count was wrong. He hit one player, and that just started a chain reaction of events. Go ahead, Toshi.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a good win. It was a good first win, especially since Max Fried has never won an opening game season in general. So him finally winning an opener was great. Offensively, the game was basically decided in the second inning, just like Sanchez said. They put up 5 runs in 1 inning, and after that, it was just control. Once you get that kind of early lead in baseball, it's practically tough to come back. So yeah, overall, 7 runs scored, 0 runs allowed, 5-run inning early, full control from start to finish.
Was there any big news for the games today?
There were some games I didn't catch a few of them, but I'll probably talk about them next week.
Yeah, there's a game happening. There's a game Yeah, there's a game happening now.
I mean, there were a few games today, but I'll probably talk about them next week. So yeah, bigger picture and zooming out, the Dodgers, some people still believe are the team to beat. You got Ohtani, Betts, Freeman. The lineup is stacked. Again, that's dynasty territory. So I don't know. We'll see. I believe they are the favorites to win it again. but we'll see. It's still early season, so. And then when I talk about MVP, I know it's early in the season, but I'll talk about it right now. You got Aaron Judge, still the standard in American League, 50 plus home runs, around 300 average, 1.0 OPS. I mean, that's elite production. But you got guys, you got other guys coming in. You got Bobby Witt Jr., Julio Rodriguez, players who bring power and speed.
Is there anyone that stands out to you? That
Those people that I just mentioned, or in general?
just in general, like person that if you think MVP, it's the first one that comes to your mind.
It was, not because I'm biased, not because I'm a Yankee fan, but just because he's been proving it year in and year out. I'm gonna say Aaron Judge.
He's in his prime right now. I think this is going to be his best year.
I hope so. Hope the team rallies behind him and gives him that extra push he needs. The team needs it. So I'm assuming, Sanchez, you're with me on this same as Aaron Judge being
100%. Right now, he's this generation's Derek Jeter right now.
yeah. I mean,
As far as star power.
Gotcha.
Do I even want to read what From the Dungeon just said?
What does he say?
He said, who do you think did more blow, Doc Gooden or Daryl Strawberry?
I want to say Daryl Strawberry.
Nah, Doc,
Daryl Strawberry, I think, did
100%.
more. Really? You think Doc Gooden?
100%. 120%.
A lot of people did it then, but
They were doing it
Fucking
together on the
Strawberry, I
same
think.
team.
Also, shout out
Yeah,
Colin. Colin
right.
came in. Colin and Corbin. Shout out to both of them.
That's what happens
Shout
when you
out to
play for the Mets.
brother. And then naturally, we got Otani. Even his normal is elite. So I don't know. It's right now. It could either go between Judge and Otani, but you've got other players again, like the ones that I mentioned, that could probably,
Who does Otani play for?
LA.
play for the Dodgers. He plays for the LA Dodgers.
He's a freak of nature, that dude.
This guy's a two-way player. He pitches and he bats.
Yeah, so he's the first person in years to be compared to Babe Ruth as well. So a lot of people like really hold that standard to him. He came from Japan, amazing player, brings in numbers, sells merch. He's great. He's great.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but he is. I will always be with Aaron Judge, but if somebody could dethrone Aaron Judge, it would be Otani. All right, so now we're going to get into, I don't know how you feel about this, Sanchez, since, me and you talked baseball a little bit. The ABS system. So for those who don't know what ABS stands for, it's automated ball strike system. So basically it's just technology tracking every pitch, using cameras and data to determine if it's actually a ball or a strike. So basically now during a game, teams get a limited number of challenges. The batter, the pitcher, or catcher can call it right away. The system checks the pitch. If the umpire got it wrong, it gets overturned. And it only takes a few seconds. So, I don't know.
Isn't that a lot to do with the MLB's need to try to make the gameplay go faster?
I don't know if that affects game speed.
That was the pitch clock.
Yeah, that was the pitch clock.
Yeah, but you're saying they now have less challenges and everything.
They get a limited number of challenges, but
and the system, you said everything's operating very quickly. So you don't think it's partly the reason why they're also doing it?
I don't know, because usually when they have to call these plays, they usually take about 2 to 5 minutes to get the call to the play down. And with the ABS system, I feel like that's one that's going to take longer. And two, if the umpires were just doing their job, they wouldn't need this. But this is what it's become.
We saw it in the Yankees game, though.
Yeah, we did.
Literally
It
just
really,
took seconds.
yeah. Well, that's true, actually. Yep, that's true.
And they showed it on the jumbo screen, too. So everybody saw it.
This is
But
that
anyway,
thing where they got to tap their helmets now, right?
they do. They have to tap the helmet.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, so why it matters, this changes a lot because for years, pitchers relied on borderline calls. Catchers made a living framing pitches. But now, that advantage starts disappearing. So, I don't know. I don't know if this leans more towards the hitters than the pitchers because, again, the pitchers, they lived off of these borderline pitches and, catches framing. So we'll see. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got today.
All right. Appreciate it, man. You guys got any other final inputs you want to put on either the NBA or the MLB?
No, I just feel like it's going to be a good rest of the season for both.
Yeah, so the season just starts. So how many more months of baseball do we got to look forward to?
October.
Starts.
Yeah, up until October. And then on top of that, I mean, there's a lot of new prospects coming in, a lot of new players that just got drafted, a lot of new players who are coming in from the minor leagues, a lot of new guys coming in. So it's a big future stars year, I think.
But seeing what Dungeon just said, I feel like this tells more about the cheating side of the sport. Because, he said there's no more cheating, man. They're ruining sports. But I guess this also affects that. I don't think it affects the speeding up the game. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how the season goes.
All right.
Yeah, I'm very curious. Yep. Thank you for that.
Appreciate it, fellas. So we're going to be moving on to the final segment of the show. You guys know how it goes after 10 episodes. It's DIGZ's final cut. What do we got going on this week, Diggs, for your final cut?
This week is Freddy versus Jason.
Fucking classic.
Have you seen this movie before?
You don't have to ask me that question, but as a refresher, me and Tosh watched it. Was it the night after episode 9 we watched it, or was it the next day? I forget which day we watched it, Tosh.
No, I don't. It wasn't that same night. I think it was the day after.
Okay, yeah, it might have been last Friday. Yeah.
Part of it was because of boredom, and he was trying to see what was going on with Diggs's.
Yeah, that's right. It was the day we added your section to the Discord. That's what it was. And that was the first. And that was the first movie we watched in there in the theater.
Kind of blessed it without you.
I see how it is. Plus in my area. At least you did it with a good movie.
It's your area. It's my Discord.
I fucking love this movie, man. This is actually my favorite.
Versus,
like legacy.
Yeah.
Killer flick. Yeah, I love this one.
It's such a
Great
fun
movie, and it still holds up to this day.
Yeah, that was the thing we were kind of realizing too when we were watching it. Like, yo, this is still like I think they did a great job of just implementing both characters' aspects into the movie. And you got to remember too, this is kind of like the last good taste that was in our mouth for both those characters, because both those franchises got a remake after that movie. Like after Freddy vs. Jason, they tried to do a new Nightmare on Elm Street, and they tried to do a new Jason, which both sucked. Fucking Freddy was a rapist, and then fucking Jason was able to run and shoot arrows and shit.
Technically, the backstory behind Freddy, we all know what's the real story, but they had to switch it up. But Diggs, you probably know this. I don't know if you know this, but I hope you do know this. But Freddy vs. Jason was originally supposed to be Freddy versus Jason versus Ash.
There was a few different variations they were talking about. Because they're also talking about doing Chucky versus Leprechaun, Freddy versus Jason versus Mike Myers.
Yeah, but for me, it was the top one was always it was supposed to be Freddy versus Jason versus Ash because somehow the book that Ash had
The
ties everything in all
Necronomicon.
together. But the only reason why they never went that route because everybody felt that this was going to take the spotlight.
Yo,
With this, which I was a decision.
from the dungeon with a hot take there. He said Jason X is a guilty pleasure. I fucking hated that movie. Jason
Hated
X.
that fucking movie.
I fucking hate Jason X, bro. That shit ruined that shit. I don't know how that's your guilty pleasure.
Hey, man.
That's crazy.
I watched
Anyway,
Zombie
we took it-
Strippers as guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
So.
that's true. You did do a fucking whole review on zombie strippers, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is what we're doing.
I wanted to take you down a bad movie hole.
A bad rabbit hole, terrible movies. I don't
Wait, what
want.
was that Thanksgiving one with the turkey?
Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble,
Thanks-
Oh
motherfucker.
my
It's
god,
horrible.
yeah, so many bad movies. All right, but let's get into this movie. Let's get this started. Go for your recap here.
Alright, Freddy vs. Jason. Two horror icons collide. Freddy Krueger manipulates events to bring Jason Voorhees back to life. Freddy's trapped in Unforgotten and uses Jason to start killing again, so people will fear him, and he can gain his power in the dream world. Jason goes on a brutal killing spree in the real world, but once Freddy's strong enough, he tries to take control. The problem? Jason doesn't stop. What follows is a full-on clash between Dream Demon and Unstoppable Slasher, with teens caught in the middle trying to figure out how to stop both. The movie builds a chaotic, over-the-top showdown between Freddy and Jason, blending supernatural horror with slasher brutality.
And like we just said, I mean, I just thought they did this in my mind perfectly. Like, how do you pay respect to both such different like horror icons? How do you pay respect to both in a versus flick? And I thought they did a great job. The first time you see them fight, it's on Freddy's home turf. He brings Jason into the dream world, and honestly, it looked like it was gonna be defeat. Like, it looked like Freddy could have actually killed Jason, but what happens? The car accident with the teenagers. Jason goes flying into the woods on their way to Crystal Lake, ends up waking him up and taking him out of the dream world. So, what are the teenagers' solution to be able to get the advantage to Jason? Because at this time, it's like the teenagers are totally on Jason's side. They feel like Freddy's more dangerous than Jason. So they come up with the idea of pulling Freddy out of the dream world into the real world. And yo, by the way, Diggs, whatever button you're pressing, that screws your mic up every time. Just letting you know. I don't know what button you're pressing there, but anyway, once they finally get Freddy out of the dream world and we get the second round between Freddy and Jason, then you kind of see the powerhouse that is Jason Voorhees, how he can really just overpower anybody at any time. His strength and he doesn't have the speed, but I don't know, he always finds a way to pop up behind you when you're least expecting them. So
You're talking about all right. So now you said all that. My question is for you guys. Who you guys think is the most dangerous killer?
oh, I'm Freddy all the way.
Yeah.
You
You get you in
can't.
your most vulnerable state.
Yeah, you're sleeping. It's not even a question. I mean,
Okay.
that's what makes Freddy more dangerous, and that's why the final fight between Freddy and Jason in this film is so different because they've only done this. Well, actually, no, they did this what? They've done this like 3 or 4 times in the whole Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, right? They pulled Freddy out of the dream.
Yeah.
So it's not the first time that Freddy's been pulled into the real world, and that's always supposed to be how you take advantage of them and give them the disadvantage. But yeah, I think the way they did it was perfect because now you're pulling them out of the dream world, not to give yourself the advantage, just to get Jason the opportunity to get his hands on him. And I think when that fight starts, that's just such an iconic scene in itself. In the cabin's on fire, and that's when the first part of the fight starts. It's literally like almost like a metaphor of like two demons fighting in hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's definitely a tough scene because Freddy needs to be strong. Jason doesn't need anything. He's just on go all the time. All you gotta do is pull Freddy into the real world, and that's it. He's weak.
Right.
Jason in the real world, we all know that's his domain. So I don't know. It's really tough to choose. I don't know. It's like Aaron Judge and fucking Otani.
That's the comparison we're going with. All right.
It's just like I don't know. They both
That's
fucking good.
crazy.
Keep it
That's
relevant.
crazy.
Wrong, but am I wrong right now?
I don't watch enough baseball.
It's really tough to decide who's really to
I like Jason. He just doesn't stop. That's his problem.
Right.
Jason is like a moving tank, bro.
And that's the other thing about this too. It's like, all right, you pull Freddy out into the real world. Jason's fighting him, fucking him up. If you're one of those teenagers, you're like, you better get the fuck out of there. And when you say get the fuck out of there, don't just leave Crystal Lake. Leave the fucking country.
No, I want to stay there.
Yeah,
I want to watch.
And that was those typical horror movie bad decisions. She's like, no, I'm not watching until I see Freddy die. It's like that. Jason kills Freddy here. That dude's coming right after you.
I'm taking Jason. Jason's my Aaron Judge. He's with Freddy. There's some kind of rules when it comes to Freddy. Jason, there's no rules. You just got to survive. Chances are you're not making it, but I don't know, I'm going with Jason.
I've always been a little bit more of a Freddy fan. I respect and love both franchises and both characters. I've always just been a little bit more of a Freddy fan because when I grew up, like Freddy, I was more scared of Freddy because he was the dream demon, and I was a young kid and I stole my mom's VHS copy of Nightmare on Elm Street and watched it when I wasn't supposed to. And then I gave myself nightmares for like 3 years after that. Like fucking Freddy Krueger like fucking tormented me in my sleep, like realistically. And at a young age, it takes you years to grow up and be like, oh, it's not real, it's just a movie. But dude, that Freddy, watching that film at a young age, Freddy really did become my dream demon. Those were like my nightmares when I was a kid.
Oh,
So
man,
I would agree with you on that part. As a kid, was afraid to go to sleep because of Jason.
You mean Freddy?
I mean Freddy. Yeah, sorry. I was afraid to go to sleep because of fucking. You know what was horrible about around that time too? In my room, I used to have a red light. I didn't have like the typical regular lights that we had. I had a red light bulb.
So your night
imagine going into your room and you have that red light bulb.
Yeah, you got
after
that.
Seeing that movie. Yeah, I couldn't sleep.
Kickin said I had nightmares of Freddy and Chucky.
And to go back to
Chucky
clean,
Fuck Chucky, you just kicked that motherfucker around.
Yeah, I never took Chucky serious. I'm a fan of the series, but yeah, even as a kid, Chucky didn't creep me out. If I was 5 or 6, I'd just drop kick that motherfucker.
For real.
Toy Soldiers gave me nightmares. That Disney movie.
Toy Soldiers gave you nightmares, bro?
I had a lot
That
of
was
army men.
that was a DreamWorks movie, I think.
Part 2 coming out, by the way.
It was like a violent version of Toy Story, bro.
Exactly.
But there's some 2 coming out.
They are going to do Toy Soldiers?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about Toy Story 2.
That's
Oh my god.
That is interesting.
But to go back and answer clean, I want to. They do showmans there on Friday the 13th where you spend overnight. Just need to get someone to go with me for it.
We'll go.
I'll go with you. I'll go.
We'll all do it.
Do it. I'm serious. I'll go.
I'm down.
All right, we
Heard
ready
that,
for we ready for Kill or Keep?
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy.
Keep it 100%.
Well, we got to go by the concepts and the other stuff that Diggs has listed. Then we do the final call. Freddy versus Jason concept: kill or keep.
Keep. It's a horror dream matchup.
And they haven't really done any others since, right?
Nope. I think the closest thing you do is AVP.
Yeah.
If you want to count that.
Yeah, Alien vs Predator. That's about it. Yeah. Yep. And they made a couple of those, right?
What?
Yep.
Yeah, Alien vs Predators.
Yeah, I didn't like it though.
I watched the first one. I didn't mind it, but
The first one was good. Then
as far as like the diehard horror like characters, like From the Dungeon just said like how Pinhead is God in his mind. Like you see, like getting characters like that to face another character would be fucking dope. So, I just think it depends on who owns the intellectual property on these characters, and you have to have two different companies collaborate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're really trying to split the revenue and all that shit, so it's probably tough for them. But anyway, fight scenes between the two icons. Would you kill or keep?
Keep. It's what the fans wanted.
What about you, Tosh?
Oh, I keep. Being exactly what it was.
All right.
Ain't
What
trying
about
to
you,
do anything
JM?
else.
I'd keep two. I think the two different rounds between them, both having their own home field advantage, really just I fell in love with that. Like, you know, both fights are awesome, but yet seeing the two different dynamics of the dream world.
What though is the ending? We saw the ending. Why is it not part two?
Why is there not a part two?
We saw the ending.
They
We just saw it
left
last
it.
week.
They
Well,
left it vague, so it will stay up for debate.
Well, no. The reason why there was never a part two is what I said earlier. The fucking studios then relaunched those franchises with all new concept and actors, and they suck.
Fuck that. Bring this.
Huh?
Fuck that. Bring the same old people. Even CGI fucking Robert England if you have to.
That's the problem now. Robert England. How old is Robert England now?
CGI it.
Did you really want that? Who the fuck wants a CGI
You want
Robert
England?
England, bro? Get the
They like
fuck.
the way the movie was great up until the end.
He's 78 years old.
70 is actually not as old as Patrick Stewart, who's still fucking acting. Patrick Stewart's in his fucking 80s, bro.
Movable character. He's on the wheelchair.
Nah, you gotta watch some of the fucking scenes he was in Picard. You're like, damn, this guy shouldn't be doing this. This guy really should not be doing this.
He's a legend.
But he's making that money, so he's gonna.
He's about to be in that fucking cool Avenger shit just to die. Give me his check.
All right, let's try to get through this now. Story depth, would you kill or keep?
Kill. Not much of the story. It's just a big setup for the fights. But the fights are the reason why we're all there.
Toshi?
What was the question?
Oh my god, never mind. I'm gonna keep.
I'm keeping it all the
because
way. That's not what you asked. I'm keeping it all the way. The movie is great all around. Just the
I'm gonna
ending
keep-
bothered
I'm
me a
gonna
little
keep-
bit.
All right,
There
all right.
was never follow through.
All right, you're ruining this whole section. Thank you. You're done. You're done for the rest of the segment. Thank you. All right. I'd actually keep story depth. I do believe there's a story here. I love this like hidden backstory of the main actress's father being associated with locking her ex-boyfriend up for being fucking crazy when really it was just a big conspiracy by the town to fucking implement these fucking anti-dream drugs onto these people so they would not bring Freddy back. And that's why Freddy needed Jason in the first place, to get his powers back, because the town was conspiring to keep everyone from mentioning him, talking about him, and dreaming about him. So I do think there's a story here. I do think there's a good story with that whole thing. So I'd actually keep the story depth. But kills and gore, kill or keep.
Keep. They're fun, they're entertaining, they're brutal.
Yep, and I would keep too. I think they still go on the same. You see kills that you would see in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. You'd see kills that you would see in the Friday the 13th franchise. So I think they kept it pretty G there. Teen characters, kill or keep.
Keep. We need them for a slasher movie.
I think if you take the franchise of Nightmare on Elm Street, you take the franchise of Friday the 13th, I think this combo actually put together a good cast of teenage actors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
None of the
I thought it was pretty good. But anyway, all in all, the final call, the whole movie, kill or keep. Obviously, Tosh says keep it all. What do you got, Diggs?
I say keep it all. I love this movie. This is another one I'll watch once, twice a year. It's great.
It was great.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the longest gap of me watching this movie, I just closed with watching with Tosh last weekend, because I hadn't seen the movie in a good amount of time at that point. It had to be a few years, definitely.
Damn.
But I do remember when it first came out. When we first started watching it, yeah, it was like a regular rotation with us. Back in the old shed days, we used to chill in my shed and shit like that. Yeah, that was definitely one of those movies that would be on a constant rotation between like fucking Scarface and all the other bullshit we would watch.
Yeah.
So, yep. Yeah, that's really it, right? Do you have anything else you want to throw in there? Also, actually, let's ask our producer Sanchez before we get out of here. Oh, you said you're a big fan of this movie, Sanchez. Overall, would you kill or keep this film?
So everything, this would be a keep 100% on every single category.
For you every category
Yeah.
we went over, you would actually keep.
Yeah,
Okay.
to me, this was like Stone Cold versus The Rock at WrestleMania 17. Like
Okay.
that like
All right.
because we were young teenagers when this movie came out, and
Was it for me and
2003,
Dick?
no?
That's a great question.
Came out
actually.
2003.
oh, preteen. So for me,
2003.
preteen, yeah, I was about 13 when it came out. So yeah, man, I mean, seeing something like that, a crossover
No,
of that
03
kind.
Yeah, 03, I was a sophomore in high school.
I think I was
Oh,
a
the
freshman. I was a freshman.
Am I really older than you? I thought we were the same age.
I got left back a few times.
Sounds about right.
There's no way you were 13 then. You usually go into high school at 14, 15, right?
Well, that's why I went to the army, man. I don't know math. Oh, but yeah, that movie, to me, to see a crossover like that was like, unheard of for its time. We get all these crossover nows in TVs and comic books and movies now, but in 2003,
Oh, but we seem to forget that Jason Goes to Hell set that movie up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it did. Yep, it did. Yep. That brief moment at the
People,
end.
a lot of people seem to forget that.
but yeah, it was
set
a
up bunch of
fantastic movie. I loved it.
And whatever. Then eventually we got.
Also,
when did
actually,
Jason
that's
Goes to Hell come
a stat right there. When did Jason Goes to Hell come out? So how much of a gap between that teaser at the end of Jason Goes to Hell to when us finally getting the Freddy vs. Jason do we get?
Jason Goes to Hell came out in 93.
So
Jesus
a fucking
Christ.
10-year gap between that teaser,
Year
bro.
gap, bro.
Holy shit.
Yeah, man. So actually, like we're thinking like, oh man, we got that at the perfect time. But for diehard fans at that time, like that was like that's worse than waiting for fucking. Actually, no, I shouldn't say it's worse than waiting for GTA 6. That's pretty bad. But you know what I mean.
Still a
open
chance
it,
in
yeah.
between.
All right. Well,
All right,
Before
before
we
we
go
go,
off, let's take a shot for the 10th episode.
oh yeah, here's a shot. ABC Go, everyone. Appreciate everyone being here for the 10th episode.
10th episode.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Cheers.
Oh my God.
and before we go, the movie for next week is the Blair Witch Project.
All
A
right.
new poll will be
The first one, right?
The first one. The poll for next week will go up sometime tomorrow.
All right, so-
that-
What's up? You want to watch it tonight?
So it's official.
Tomorrow.
We'll do Blair Witch Project for episode 11,
yes, sir.
but you're going to put the poll up for episode 12. Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
Big
You want to watch that tonight or you want to watch it tomorrow?
I'm not watching it tonight, but yeah, we'll probably watch it this weekend.
All right.
I just watched it like a week ago.
Did you really?
I've been watching since
Yeah.
the first game.
It was on
haven't-
Pluto.
I haven't seen
Nice.
I haven't seen the original Blair Witch Project in so fucking long, bro. So this is gonna be
Same
I watched it
here.
since the first game.
this is gonna be a
But it'll
yeah.
be brand new to me if I watch it right now.
I've definitely watched it multiple times in my life, but I'm talking it's been years since I've seen that movie. So it's definitely gonna. I've seen Freddy vs. Jason more in my life than I've seen Blair Witch Project.
It came out with a really good game too a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I heard
have it
about
on
that,
VR.
but I never played it. Oh, it's a VR game?
That's why.
Oh shit! I gotta go over to DIGZ's house.
I can hook it up so I can record your gameplay.
You just take your phone out, and record me with a fucking VR helmet on. I'll throw up inside of an hour. I can't do VR, bro.
Let's try it.
VR will make me so motion sickness,
Yeah, for real.
and I'm
I
definitely
like that
breaking.
with first-person games.
I'm definitely breaking some sort of glass or TV in your fucking house if I'm playing this shit.
Just take them outside.
I got it for my niece, but she was too scared to play.
Oh yeah, I can
After she
imagine.
begged me for it.
So is it only VR, or you can play it on desktop?
I think you can play a desktop too. I'm not positive.
You have to look that up. I'm not a big horror movie guy, a horror video game guy either, but I would try that.
I did see gameplay footage of the Halloween game, and they keep pimping
it's
out the Hellraiser game.
I don't know about the Hellraiser. The Halloween game looks great.
Yeah, it does. It looks like how Friday the 13th game was.
But updated and new.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate everyone that was here for us today. Big shout out to From the Dungeon, Kick and Wing. We had a lot of people pop in.
Colin, Corbin.
Yep, Colin, Corbin jumped in. We had Geo in here for a little bit. Yeah, appreciate everybody for popping in and saying what's up
No
and
chance.
contributing to the podcast. We appreciate everyone. You can always hit me up on all socials. I am JM at the only JM on all socials. DIGZ, tell them where you're at.
You can find me on all socials at DIGZ401.
And our boy Toshi here, he's social media illiterate, so you can follow him somewhere.
You can follow me at Seed Gonzalez.84. You're not going to find anything special. But there you go.
Also, make sure that you're constantly keeping up with everything that is Clean Sanchez Media. Shout out to our producer, Clean Sanchez, in the background. Finally getting his voice put out there these last 2 episodes. So we're happy you're contributing to the content, brother.
Yippee!
Make sure you check him out and Gio tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. right here on the Clean Sanchez Media YouTube channel. They will also be doing BRVG Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will also be streaming after BRVG. We'll see how many people we get this week, but it'll be 3 weeks in a row. We've been doing an annual Among Us night, and I go live at twitch.tv/theonlyjm. We'll be doing that Saturday night. And then
Are we doing that this weekend?
we've done it 2 weeks in a row. We might as well keep it moving. See if we can keep the tradition going.
So are we doing Among Us or are we doing Fall Guys?
Well, I don't know if you guys want to change it up. I just figured it'd be Among Us again. Kicken's already down. She's already.
Yes, but I don't know what that means. Yes to what?
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll play it by ear. But anyway, the rest of the Clean Sanchez Media slate, Monday, 7 p.m. Check out DD 214, and then they go right back in the morning rips on. Oh, Monday morning actually. Monday 10 p.m. morning rips, and then DD 214 at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you everyone that was watching, and we will be here next week, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Appreciate everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Holmes.
Smooches.
Later.
From the backyard to the turnbuckle flips, New England kids now they're running the clips.